Should the Saints draft Shedeur Sanders? We'll discuss on the Saints Sports Corner. We all know that the Saints need a quarterback. Based on the Derek Carr news that came out, we all realize that the Saints should take a quarterback in the NFL draft. The problem with it is the rumors are that the Saints do not like Shedeur Sanders as much. It could be a smokescreen, it could be not. We're not sure. We know that if the Saints is going to take best player available, if the Saints go forward taking best player available, they might not draft Shedeur Sanders. The problem with it is, I think that Shedeur Sanders is one of the top 10 players in this NFL draft. A lot of people gonna call me crazy. A lot of people gonna say he has a second round draft grade. A lot of people gonna say that he doesn't have arm talent, or that he's not one of the people you should draft at 9 because you need an edge rusher, you need offensive linemen, you need all these things. That may be true, but you may not ever be in this position again to draft a quarterback. You may not be top 10 next year. I know what everybody thinking. Oh, the Saints, their roster bad. They're going to lay it down. Well, veterans like Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan, these guys want to win. And the Saints, from what I think, is not going to trade none of these guys. So they're not just going to lay it down. You don't know if you're going to be picking top 5. You don't know if you're going to be picking top 10. It's possible based on the Derek Carr news, but you really don't know. You got to be careful when you assuming that all the quarterbacks that's coming out next year are better than the quarterbacks this year. They weren't better than the quarterbacks this year during the season. We can make an argument that Cam Warner, Shedeur Sanders was head above heels above everybody else. That's just a fact. I mean, you can see it how you want to see it, but Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders both were Heisman runner-ups. They both put up the numbers. Shedeur Sanders didn't even have an offensive line. He didn't. He didn't have an offensive line, and he still put up those numbers. He's deadly accurate. We had a deadly accurate quarterback in New Orleans. His name was Drew Brees. He was about timing and anticipation. Drew Brees is timing and anticipation. We've seen that already. His timing and his anticipation was killer. His accuracy, killer. We've seen that. So why is it that Shedeur Sanders is not Drew Brees, but he has the same type of traits? We just want to write him off. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. All you hear is the draft chatter that Shedeur Sanders is not going to be an elite quarterback. What is an elite quarterback? Because last time I checked, timing, anticipation, accuracy was the things you wanted in a quarterback. You can have the strongest arm in the world, but if you can't hit a parked car, it doesn't matter. There's so many strong arm quarterbacks that fizzled out. So many. Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Mallett, Jay Cutler had a strong arm. He didn't win any Super Bowls. Think about right now, Patrick Mahomes, the only person that really beat him to get to the Super Bowl was what? A timing and anticipation quarterback, Joe Burrow. Josh Allen got the strongest arm in the world, and he still haven't beat him. You got to make it make sense. I understand that the Saints may have 5 to 6 guys above Shedeur Sanders. Hell, they may have 30 guys. But when you have an opportunity to draft a top 10 talent, which I think Shedeur is, you have to draft him. You have to draft him. That's all I'm saying. You have to draft a guy like Shedeur Sanders. Let's talk about how Mickey Loomis, Jeff Allen, and Kellen Moore has a big decision to make at the number 9 pick. The whole world's gonna be watching to see if the Saints pass on Shedeur Sanders. The whole world. That's all everybody is talking about. Will the Saints draft Shedeur? All I know is the Saints didn't put a lot of time into Shedeur, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really send the same amount of scouts that they sent everywhere else. It could be a smoke screen from people that I see online. The people that's really close to the Saints, they saying that they don't think the Saints going to take a quarterback, and a lot of the times they're right. But we really don't know. We really don't know what Kellen Moore is looking for and how he's looking to build his team. I mean, you can look at other places he's been and kind of see the carbon copy of what he has been a part of, but that doesn't necessarily mean he wants to build his team similar to the stops that he had in the NFL. So I'm wondering, is he gonna start his tenure off with a quarterback? Is he gonna take a running back? Based on what Saquon Barkley did. Is it gonna be a wide receiver, a pass catcher, maybe a corner since you lost Marshawn Lattimore? We really don't know. And it's intriguing because Shedeur Sanders can fall tonight. He possibly can if somebody don't jump up. And based on what everybody's saying, Shedeur is not elite, and that you really could get him in the second round. He's a second round talent. You can't get him in the second round, but he's a second round talent. I disagree. I think he's a top 5, top 7 talent. I don't think the Saints really can risk passing on Shedeur Sanders, but we're going to see. We're going to see how the NFL really feels about Shedeur Sanders, because nobody know, no reporter, no insider, nobody know unless you're in that room as a scout, a GM, a coach. You really don't know. And we all going to find out who Shedeur Sanders, how the Saints feel about Shedeur Sanders. I think that when that number 9 selection come, and if, and only if Shedeur Sanders is sitting there, we're going to know. There's reports that maybe if the Saints trade up, we'll know early. But I don't really think the Saints have to trade up for Shedeur Sanders. I really think that the price is too steep to jump him. And I think a lot of teams are really scared about what he comes with. Is he going to be bigger than the team? Not that his character is bigger than the team, but is the things that surrounding Shedeur Sanders going to be too much to handle for a first-year rookie head coach? And I don't think we're talking about that enough. Do Kellen Moore want somebody who's basically, soon as he walk in the door, more popular than the whole team? We do know Sean Payton, a person like that, he'll embrace something like that. Sean Payton likes the spotlight. We know Sean Payton, what he did with Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was dating Kim Kardashian. He came with all of the hoopla. He came with all of the prestige. The Heisman Trophy winner. He came with all that. And Sean Payton, because of who Sean Payton, how confident Sean Payton is, he selected Reggie Bush, and the rest is history. We don't know if Kellen Moore had that type of confidence. We don't know that. We don't know if Kellen Moore is going to bring in somebody like Shedeur Sanders and make him sit and be like, look, I know you can do this, and I'm going to build an offense around you the same way Sean Payton did with Drew Brees. We don't know that. We're hoping that that's what happened, because we all can see that Shedeur Sanders is a top 10 talent if you actually evaluating him correctly. All he did was have to throw at Colorado. That's all he did. They didn't have nothing else. But to not have nothing else and to be able to produce like he did, yes, he took a lot of sacks. Yes, all of the sacks wasn't on his O-line. We can all agree and say that. He held the ball a little bit too long too many times. But those type of things are things you can clean up from a quarterback. Those type of things are things that we can work on in practice. You can't coach accuracy. I have never seen nobody get better with accuracy. There may be things you can supplement and replace for accuracy, like your ability to scramble, your ability to move inside the pocket. Drew was great at this. He wasn't a scrambler, but he had this feel that you can't coach with quarterbacks, that to slide up, slide to the left, slide to the side, to be able to see the targets downfield when he's throwing 40, 50-yard deep shots. And I think Shedeur has that same, can have that same ability. He's not where he needs to be feet wise. I think he will get there because that's once the thing. Again, that's a coachable trait. But he does have a really good feel for the game. He really does. And I think if the Saints really are seriously, truly thinking about their future, they should take him. Yet, I can't be mad if somebody jumps the Saints and the the Saints stand pat. They're good with whatever their draft board says. I can't be mad at that. Like, I'm not saying trade up for Shedeur. I won't say that because you have to give a lot of draft capital. I mean, if you trade up, maybe if it's 2, 3 spots, it may not be as steep, but don't trade up for Shedeur Sanders. I really think he'll be there at 9. That's my personal belief. I don't know. I know the Giants and the Raiders, but the Giants passing on Abdul Carter, huh? You know, I don't think so. The Raiders passing on Genty, huh? I don't see it. You got to show me. I don't see it. I really think that Shedeur is going to be there. So, how does this draft look with the Saints? Is it going to be a pass catcher? Is it going to be a tight end? Is it going to be a running back? We don't never discuss running backs. I know in the beginning of the process we discussed running backs, but Genty could be there, and Kellen Moore's a Boise State guy. We don't know. That's what makes this draft process so intriguing. We really don't know. And there's a lot of players in that bubble: Genty, Warren, Will Johnson, what's his name? McMillan. A lot of these guys. It'll be interesting to see how the Saints grade them. Mason Graham could potentially get there, but I'm not big on the Mason Graham thing only because we just traded for a defensive tackle, you know, and we already had like 3 or 4 defensive tackles. So we kind of overcrowded at the position, honestly. So I don't think defensive tackles should be high on their board. And there's a lot of defensive tackles you can get in the second round that can do what Mason Graham would do in the 3-4. I don't think he'll be as productive in a 3-4 as he would a 4-3. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. I think the Saints are going to stick to their board as they should, but I think that quarterback thing is going to be something that they really, really sit down and ponder. I really do. But I got a little bit more for you after this. We're going to talk more Shedeur Sanders after this. Shedeur floor is Brock Purdy and his ceiling is Joe Burrow. Wouldn't you take Joe Burrow right now? Hell, would you take Brock Purdy right now? Of course you'll take Brock Purdy or Joe Burrow. Because they both are playmakers. They both have they are deadly accurate, and they both led their team to the playoffs in the Super Bowl. Shedeur can do that. He can do that with the New Orleans Saints. We all cried and we all talked about how Derek Carr threw a hospital ball. That was the saying. He was throwing hospital balls. Well, when you're accurate, you don't throw hospital balls. You put it on the money. That's why we should be drafting Shedeur Sanders. I get all the noise about I'm not sure. It's risky. Every NFL pick is risky. Every NFL pick is risky. You could draft Peyton Turner. You could draft Marcus Davenport. And we traded up to get those players. We got to make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. If we don't learn from the Patrick Mahomes debacle, trading up 1 spot. If we don't learn from the Lamar Jackson debacle, not trading down to get him, and look at Lamar now, 2-time MVP. We've been needing a first-round quarterback for the longest. Not a second round, not a third round, not a fourth round. Granted, Drew Brees was a second-round quarterback. But right now is the time to draft him. Right now. Why not now? What's the reason? What's the reason? There's no excuse not to draft Shedeur Sanders. I get all of Jackson Dart. We could get Jackson Dart in the second round. Who told you that? Who told you we can get Jackson Dart in the second round? Who told you that a team is gonna be willing to trade up? I mean, trade back so that the Saints can trade up. We don't know that. We can't keep doing this hypothetical. We don't even know if we're gonna get Shedeur Sanders. That's the truth. But if you want him bad enough, you could go get him. I don't know if the Saints like the kid. I don't. None of us know. But what he put on tape, what he put on tape should make him a top 5 pick, in my opinion. What he put on tape should make him a top 5 pick. This shouldn't even be a discussion. So if he fall to you at 9 and he's considered a top 5 pick, make it happen. You don't even have to play Shedeur Sanders year 1. You don't have to play him. You can play Spencer Rattler. Let Spencer do his thing. See if you got something in Spencer. He showed flashes last year. Granted, he was dealt a horrible situation. But guess what? He did some things in that Washington game. You can't lie. Let's see what he builds on. But just in case he doesn't work out, you got an NBA equivalent of a Euro stash. You got an NBA equivalent of an overseas player that still need development. What can be the harm in that? I know what you're saying, a first round pick. There's no harm in that. There's no harm in the Aaron Rodgers route, the Patrick Mahomes route. Build your team through the draft, and when you feel like you got a nice squad, put in that franchise quarterback. If the other quarterback is not working out, you don't even have to draft him. You already got him in the building. You got to make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. You got to make it make sense. Call me crazy. Call me what you want to, but you got to make. I think another great player is going to fall that they wasn't expecting to fall, because that's just how crazy the draft is. You never know. Somebody might draft somebody nobody had in the top 10. So I think we really need to pay attention to that. And we really need to understand that we really don't know how the first 7 or 8 are going to shake out. There's some team right now that probably already have a deal done. And I'm going to speak about that later in the show too, because there's a surprise team that nobody's talking about, but I just get the feeling that they want to do something splashy. It's just my feeling. And they're not that far off. They're not that far. They're not a lot of picks off. And I think they can really, really, really jump the Saints to get a guy like Shedeur Sanders. So we'll be right back with that on the Saints Sports Corner. Welcome back to the Saints Sports Corner. And let's talk about that surprise team that could be lurking to jump the Saints for Shedeur Sanders. Everybody knows about Pittsburgh. Everybody knows about the potential of the teams like the Seahawks, the Rams, who need QB needed teams. We already know about the teams like Las Vegas. We know about the teams like the Giants and Cleveland that can be looking to sneak back into the first round to get a QB like Shedeur Sanders. But let's be clear, there's a team that we all familiar with that potentially can be a fit for Shedeur Sanders that no one is talking about. Let's talk the Dallas Cowboys. We already heard a report earlier in the offseason when someone said that Dak Prescott was going to be traded to Cleveland, right? And it didn't happen, but we kind of scoffed at it like, maybe that'll be dope. And why would Cleveland trade for Dak Prescott when they already got money tied into Deshaun Watson? We paid attention to that, and we don't know if it was a credible source or not, but it was trending. And though that means absolutely nothing, there had to be a little bit of something there. So we have to understand that the Dallas Cowboys, they love to be talked about. Jerry Jones loved to be talked about. And we all know it took him a while to pay Dak. We know for a fact that he didn't want to pay Dak. So not paying Dak and actually taking his time on Dak's contract means that he wasn't sold on Dak. Dak keep flaming out in the playoffs. So why not get Shedeur Sanders? Even with Dak on the team, let's say Shedeur backs up Dak for 2 years. Shedeur alone is going to command the type of publicity, the type of showmanship, the type of um, accolades and media coverage that comes with just being a Sanders, which is gonna raise ticket prices potentially, which is gonna make people just want to come to see the Cowboys just to see what Shedeur Sanders do, or just to see when he get in his first game. Like so, I think we really gotta worry about the Dallas Cowboys. It can be me. Let me know in the comments. It's just my thought. I just think they're a real sneaky team for Shedeur Sanders.